Hey guys, this is Athena. I wanted to make a quick little video to share some new podcasts I have recently discovered and totally love and enjoy. And I will get to those in just a moment. Before I get there, I wanted to share one or two other little things. First of all, I sent the package, the prize, to Cynthia, who had won the 1,000 subby contest I did a couple weeks ago, and it was so much fun putting together her little box of goodies. Again, I apologize I didn't share that box with you because I really just sort of wanted to see who would win and then just intuitively choose some things for that. She has put me to shame in her awesomeness. She not only sent a thank you card, she sent a little package, and how sweet and awesome is that? And it came in there was a little card. Inside the card was a handwritten note, which was very, very sweet. I will tell you part of what it said, and it just says, please find a flower essence made by a wonderful magic lady in her state. I didn't share it just in case. I have had wonderful experiences with her lovely essences, and I love to share them with others, so enjoy the experience. And so she had included some flower essence, and was so sweet to also include some information about it. An orchid essence. The exquisite orchid essence brings an expansion of our higher frequency. We live in amazing times of conscious awakening. It gives us the opportunity to welcome our divine selves into our daily lives. Orchid essence has a very high and refined vibration. Thank you. Thank you. So I had read the first part and didn't read the part that it's like a tonic or tincture type thing that you can ingest. So I'm definitely looking forward to giving this a whirl and seeing how it works. Thank you, Cynthia. How amazing to give a gift in response for a gift. You're a lovely lady. Thank you. And that was one thing I wanted to share. And was there anything else? Not really. I have an incense going. I always have an incense going when I do these videos. I like the little bit of energy and the mystique. I've run out of my current favorite incenses, which are the Peppermint by Nadia. Hey Nadia, I'm going to just start making it now because I'm going to make a ginormous order again soon. I burn that stuff like it's just crack or something. And then I'm out of this other cinnamon one I like, and I order it through Amazon. But this is one that I've bought a few times. Ember was the first one who mentioned it. Some of the ones she has mentioned I don't like. I'm just going to say it again for the millionth time. I'm very, 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 very picky with incense. It's rare that it's more often I don't like something than I do. So when I do, I get excited. And this one is in my top 3. And super hit. She mentioned it forever ago on one of her videos, and I bought it. You can buy this one. I've seen it in stores occasionally if you are in a store that sells incense, although I didn't see it at World Market, which is one of the only stores around here that sells incense. But when I do visit my family in Tennessee, they have Earthbound, and they definitely sell it there. So I like it, and I've been burning it quite a bit. It stays. I don't always like it when an incense, you can smell it like the next day, or it stays in the carpet, unless it's just a great smell. And this one does stay, but it is a great smell, so I'm okay with that. On to the actual point of this video, which was podcasts. I won't even go into the fact that I love podcasts, because if you've ever watched any of my videos, you already know that. And if you haven't, yeah, hi, welcome. I love podcasts like Psycho, Crazy Sauce Love. They've replaced TV. They've replaced Netflix. The only 2 things I listen to or watch in my whole world is YouTube and podcasts. So there you go. And my newest favorite ones, there is one called Myths and Legends, and it is done by a gentleman, a younger guy, and he is funny. He retells and shares with you random myths and legends that have gone on over the years, and I just love it. He's funny. he's naturally really funny. So when he retells, he puts a little bit of modern day thinking into it, but in a way that just a touch, and it just enhances it and makes it funny. Myths and Legends. And by the way, I plan to insert below like links for the podcasts. Ron's Amazing Stories. Ron's Amazing Stories I found through another one that I'm going to mention soon. He has created a podcast. He's been on for kind of a long time, and I didn't know about him until recently. He publishes on his podcast old time radio. So back in the 30s, 40s, 50s, it went on through the 70s, but the heyday was like the 40s. On the radio, they had stories. You remember, you've probably heard of people sitting around the radio listening. I listened to one the other day with Jimmy Stewart on it, and it was awesome. And yesterday I listened to one with Orson Welles narrating. And so they act through its audio acting. Before TV was out, there were movies, but there was no TV at that time. And they're wonderful. And Ron, he collects these. They're out there. Supposedly they're just sort of out there, and no one has ownership over them. So he publishes them, and he does say, look, I have no rights over these. If you know who owns them, or if you own them, get in contact with me as soon as you can. So he's not like copyright infringement or any of that. But he even goes so far as to keep the old commercials in them. So you know how you listen to a podcast now and it's like brought to you by MeUndies or Audible or Blue Apron, which, by the way, 2 out of 3 of those I have finally subscribed to, not the Undies. I've been a member of Audible for a few years now, and you already know I'm psycho over Audible, and finally signed up for Blue Apron. First order comes this week. Pray for me. I'm not a domestic girl, so I'm going to try to cook. We'll see how this goes. Anywho, my point was on Ron's Amazing Stories, when he publishes these old from the 30s, 40s, 50s radio shows, he has kept the commercials in them because they're awesome to hear now. A lot of them are referring to World War II and help our troops by supporting this and that. They're awesome. So Ron's Amazing Stories, very, very, very good. I learned about him from another podcast I'm going to share with you. Jim Harold. Jim Harold has, I think, 3 different podcasts out there. There's 2 that I've listened to. My favorite I have referenced before, and it's Jim Harold's Campfire, and it comes on once a week, and it has callers who call in about ghost things or supernatural things or alien things that they have witnessed or been a part of. Most of the time, I really enjoy them. A few of them I have to skip ahead because I don't. The person who calls in, their storytelling method is long or laborious, or they're just not necessarily great to listen to. But overall, the Campfire ones are really, really good. He has another one called Paranormal Podcast, and I'm just warming up to this one. He interviews people. He's had that one on for like 9 years. It's amazing. It's been on for so long. I've only listened to a few of them, but they're pretty good. So Jim Harold's Paranormal Podcast. He and Ron are friends, so that's how I discovered Ron, and so there's that. Spirit Talk. I don't know if I've referenced this one before. I used to listen to every one of these. They come on once a month. The narrator of that one, I just blanked on his name. His voice is almost identical to Jim Harold, which is weird. A lot of them, they sound like Ryan Seacrest. Like, both of them sound a lot like Ryan Seacrest. There's like this voice. This guy is decent. I don't like his personality quite as much, but his show is definitely worth listening to. Some of them I would skip. Some of them are wonderful. Yeah, try it for yourself. Spirit Talk. He has definitely had some episodes that have stuck with me that are very good. He is very Christian, and that doesn't come into play too often. There was a great one, maybe that'll be the one I'll link below, where he had a guest on there who was talking about, I don't know if his guest is pagan, but he sure did sound pagan. And he was talking about Yule and all the stuff you know about already between the pagan and Christian Christmas shit that's out there. And so his reaction, the dude who I can't remember his name, to his guest was like, "What? Really? I've never heard of that." And I was like, okay, well, time for education. But his guest was really good, so I will link that one. I would say more often his episodes are good. More often I like them than the times I don't. And when I don't, I just skip it. So there's only 2 more I wanted to talk about. Happier by Gretchen Rubin is wonderful. It's not pagan, it's not paranormal, it's just awesome. I discovered Gretchen Rubin through a different podcast I have never shared with you, which is, maybe I have, Rewild Yourself. And he's gotten better. He's stepped his podcast up, and he had her on as a guest recently, and I liked her so much that I looked her up and started listening to her book on Audible, and she's freaking wonderful. She is wonderful. You will diagnose yourself. It's not, diagnose is the wrong word. She does break down personalities into 4 different types, and turns out I'm an obliger. You'll have to look and see if you are too. If you're a procrastinator and you tend to meet your deadlines to others, but you let yourself down a lot, which is, I think, the majority of the people out there, then you're an obliger. So welcome to my club. But the other types are questioners. There's the upholder, where very few people are upholders, but you might know one. My best friend is one of those, and she does everything she says she's going to do. And by the time I've had the idea, she's like, "Oh yeah, I already did that." But if she says I'm going to work out every day, she works out every day. If she says I'm not going to eat that again, she doesn't eat it again. Those are rare souls. And then the polar opposite, the 4th one, is the rebel, which sounds cool, but the rebel, you break every rule, you even break your own rules, and it's very hard to get a rebel to buy into something, because they will, even if they're trying to get themselves to buy into it, the minute they lay out the rules, they're going to rebel. So that won't be tough. So anyway, Happier by Gretchen Rubin. She and her sister do this podcast. They're awesome. They've only been on for a year or so, and they're very, 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 very good. I love them. The last one, you will like them if you are witchy or pagan. They're, of all of them, my least favorite of these new ones I'm sharing today, only because they're probably the least professional. I think all the others, they're pretty professional, like professionally put together. And these are more casual, so that's okay. But the Priestesses, and I heard of them through Firelight, who does the podcast Inciting a Riot. And I am friends with him on Facebook, and he loves them. And he's like, you should check them out. So I've listened to the Priestesses. I think they've only had a few episodes out. They're okay. They're good. If no other reason, if you realize you've listened to everything that you're already into and you're ready for something new, definitely give them a listen. And they're still growing. They're new. And again, I'm not criticizing. I don't think I could ever do a podcast. This is, YouTube is as far as I'm going to go with putting stuff out there. So check out the podcast. Links are below. Let me know what you think if you enjoy some of them. If you have some that you would like to recommend to me, please do. I'm always looking for new ones. My most favorite non-pagan podcast, my number 1 favorite podcast out there, I said something on Facebook about it. I voted and they won, so I was very happy. I've never voted for something like this, but they were up for the Webby Award. That's like the podcast award, the stuff you should know. And if you take out the New World Witchery, which I love because they're it's like they feel like family to me. So obviously I'm going to choose my family over someone else. But if you take out some of the ones that I just have personal love for, the Stuff You Should Know is, I feel like, the best podcast out there. The best in terms of it would appeal to the most people, and it's funny and well done and entertaining, and I can't get enough of it. So, all right, those are my opinions, and if you don't agree, you get your money back. So, what? It's worth what you paid for it? I think that's what I'm trying to say. All right. Let me know if you look into them. I'm interested. Take care, and I'm going to make another video in about 2 seconds, looking exactly the same. Love you guys. Peace.